Morning, peeps. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, let's see what there is to talk about from the world of boxing today. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids, all that good stuff. Thank you so much to everyone that is doing that. Apologies if I sniff a lot during this video. Hay fever. Don't blame me, blame hay fever. I have taken a tablet. That shit might take a while to kick in. But let's hope I don't sneeze during the video. That would be really fucked up. All right, where should we start? No, let's start with a big fight on the weekend. There's a couple of big fights on the weekend. We already spoke about Loma versus Nakatani a couple of days ago. The big one is Gervonta Davis versus Mario Barrios. I say big one just because this will have more eyeballs on it. This will do big numbers. Gervonta Davis is a star. He really is. He could be a bigger star if his team and management allow him to be. I'll elaborate on that a bit more. But already he's a star. I was watching All Access thing. You know, Showtime do that like 24/7s. It's got millions of views. Like, people are very interested in Gervonta Davis. It could be the Mayweather factor. I don't even think it's that anymore. I think it's just him. I think people are engaged to him. He's an all-action fighter. Comes to fight right. Really does. He's got that gritty street mentality that he brings to the ring, and I love him. I can't lie to you, I love Gervonta Davis. But let's talk more about this matchup. He takes on Mario Barrios, who has been at 140 pounds now for, I think, 3 years. Mario Barrios started at 122 pounds. So he's a big 140 now just because he's been a 140 for a few years, but he's not a guy that, you know, turned over from amateur and then straight at 140. So Gervonta Davis isn't fighting, you know, a monster at 140. No, he's fighting a guy that has come up through the weight classes like him. In fact, started at a lower weight class than Gervonta Davis, but that was a few years ago. That was Barrios started his career at 18. He's now 26. So that was a long time ago. He has now built in to that frame, and he's got a very, very big frame. He's a good boxer. He's the WBA regular lightweight champion, for what it's worth. There is a story being told that isn't true about this fight. You know, that this is, look, it's a world title fight. Let me not discredit it, but it's not a legit world title fight. I don't put any stock into these regular belts, if I'm honest with you. No stock at all. But both fighters unbeaten. It should be a good fight. It really should be. Barrios trained by Virgil Hunter. We know him, Hall of Fame trainer, experience. He's obviously coming in with a game plan. And Gervonta Davis is trained by the unheralded. And I'll say that because no one really talks about him. I think he's a good trainer though, Calvin Ford, I think his name is. So look, it's going to be a good one. It's weird, at the start of that Showtime, I don't know if you guys have watched it, the first series. Again, they're trying to tell a story that isn't true here. Calvin Ford is holding up this framed picture of Floyd Mayweather, and it goes where Floyd says, you know, I beat the best at 130, then I went to 135, beat the best, and now I'm gonna fight the best at 140. No disrespect to Gervonta Davis, and this isn't that kind of video. I'm not trying to diss him because, again, I think he's a really good fighter, and I think his team's holding him back. He hasn't done that. He didn't beat the best at 130, right? I like Pedraza, I do, and that win's a good win now when you think about it. But I like Pedraza. Pedraza was never the best at 130. Even when he fought Leo Santa Cruz recently, Leo Santa Cruz wasn't viewed as the best at 130. The best at 130 at the time was viewed as either Miguel Buchel, Oscar Valdez, Shakur Stevenson coming up. So he hasn't done that. We know who's around at 135. Let's be honest, we know the guys there. Teofimo, Devin, Ryan, even a Richard Comey, Vasyl Lomachenko, hasn't fought any of that. And at 140, we definitely aren't fighting the best in Barrios. So again, I mean, if you're not a big boxing fan and you see that message that Calvin Ford's trying to sell, you'll be like, oh my God, he's cleaning up and he's going through the weight classes. Gervonta Davis certainly isn't doing that. And I think that's, I don't know if that's a problem. And what I mean by that is that the most important person in boxing, the most important by far, not the promoter, not the manager, is the matchmakers. They are the most important. They can either make your career or end it. Like, really, or they can put a full stop or a pause in it. Think of crazy matchmakings like Amir Khan when he fought Bradus Prescott. Like when you think of it now, when you look back, that's crazy, right? Fighting this unknown Colombian. Was it Colombian? Yeah, with a near perfect knockout record. Like that's the kind of crazy matchmaking you can have. And then you can have what I view as safe matchmaking. And I feel like with Gervonta Davis's career, there's been a couple of risky ones in there, but a lot has been safe matchmaking. But he's a star. He's making millions. So you have to weigh it up. He's doing, like right now, he's probably where he wants to be in his career. He's winning these fights. He's on pay-per-view. He's selling out arenas. But I almost feel like for him to go into that the pound for pound conversation, we need to see some real matchups. And this isn't discrediting Barrios. Barrios, I think, could cause him problems, but we have to see some real matchups at 130 or 135, or if you're going to stay there at 140. You know? I mean, we really do. I mean, I thought the Leo Santa Cruz was a good win. It was a very, very good win, but again, there are other guys at 130 that I think were better than Leo Santa Cruz. So I'm not quite understanding what they're doing with Gervonta Davis. It's a confusing one, because again, he's going to be a draw. I said it at the top. I think this guy is going to be a superstar in a couple of years' time. I mean, if Canelo decides to hang it up, this could be the next pay-per-view king. He really could be that guy. But are we going to see him in a fight to almost give him, yes, you're the draw, but to the point where, okay, he's the best? Do you know what I mean? Are we going to get that? Not quite sure. This is the big opportunity for Barrios. It's a big step up for Barrios as well. His last fight was against Ryan Carl. I mean, who knows who Ryan Carl is, and that's no disrespect to Ryan Carl. Beat him before that for the vacant WBA regular title. He beat McMadoff, I think the guy's name is. Good amateur record, but nothing as a pro. I think McMadoff was 7 or 8-0. So this is a big opportunity, good opportunity for Barrios as well. He's been waiting for this. He's been waiting for a fight like this, right? I mean, this is the fight that kind of puts his name out there. He wants to be the guy that is a pay-per-view star. He wants to be the guy that sells at arenas. Does quite good numbers in his hometown of San Antonio, but he wants to be the guy that really takes the step up. This is what he's been waiting for, a Gervonta Davis fight. I just feel with Gervonta Davis, you almost feel like there's this inevitability that he will get to you. He will. I think Leo, by the way, I thought Leo versus Gervonta was a good fight, but you almost felt like, okay, he's starting to close the distance now. And once he closed that distance and he gets inside, he's going to cause you problems. What Gervonta doesn't do, he doesn't throw punches and bunches. He doesn't even really throw 4 or 5 punch combinations, but when he throws 1 or 2, it's with the meanest of intentions. He is trying to break you in half. And if Barrios, who should be able to keep him at range with those really long levers, if Barrios can't sting him or keep him at range, then there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a big problem because you're not going to keep Gervonta Davis off you for 12 rounds. You're not. And if you can't sting him to the point where he thinks, okay, I'm just going to walk through your punches, then you're in big problems. And I expect Barrios to do well, but eventually you expect Gervonta Davis to close that gap, get inside and deliver those. We know he loves the uppercuts and those body shots. And you almost expect him to show, okay, there are levels between us. Barrios, you're a good fighter. Yes, you're big and strong and everything they're trying to sell us, right? Oh, he's a massive guy. This is David versus Goliath, all that crap. Gervonta Davis will close the distance. And once Gervonta Davis does, it's going to be good night. It's going to be good night. But then what? Then what? What do they do next? I mean, does the matchmaker keep playing it safe? Or do they roll the dice? Do they give us a risky one? I mean, he's at 140. Do they try and even dare tempt Regis Prograis? Do they do that? I mean, they're saying Josh Taylor, but I don't think they want that. Do they go back down to 135? What's the plan with Gervonta Davis? Right now, the plan's working because he's unbeaten and he's a millionaire and he's a superstar. So it might be working. So again, maybe we have to applaud the team and the matchmakers. But for me, I just feel like there's so much more to come. There's a pound for pound top 10 guy there in Gervonta Davis. And I don't think his team are going to take the risk and let us see it. And look, in order to get into that pound for pound discussion, you have to beat someone of note. Like, you have to be in one of those fights where everyone's like, ooh, that's what, and he's not in any of those fights. He's not been in any of them. Like, I think he will fold Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia's got fast hands and all that stuff. I think he will get to Ryan and fold him. That's the kind of fight I'd like to see, but who knows how that's going to even play out. I don't know. I don't know, man. But look, I'm going to do a live watch long, don't forget, for both fights. I think the Loma Nakatani one's first, and then we'll obviously stay up for this fight, Gervonta Davis, Barrios. I'm not too fussed about the undercard, if I'm honest with you. But you know what we do. We'll have our fun in between it. But yeah, maybe I'm being a bit harsh there on Gervonta Davis. Because look, maybe the matchmaking is what makes sense. I mean, look, look, you think of a fight like, what was a big fight for Gervonta a couple of years ago? Tevin Farmer. You must felt like that fight was going to happen. Tevin Farmer went his own route, lost, and now is struggling to come back in. And maybe it was Tevin Farmer's matchmaking that didn't help him. Do you know what I mean? So maybe the matchmaking for Gervonta is good. Maybe they really, I don't know, maybe they're really doing a good job and, you know, we're the ones that are in the wrong. I don't know. All right, let's see if we've got any stories before we move on. Tyson Fury, I'm going to run over Wilder as if I'm an 18-wheeler and he's a human being. We'll see. We'll see. Enough talk, right? We'll see. I don't know. The tickets on sale for that. In fact, I'm sure they are already, aren't they? Of course they are. This should be a little good scrap, you know. Gilberto Ramirez, Sullivan Barrera. Gilberto Ramirez, I'm sure is like something like 44-0. Let's have a quick look. I remember he is like one of the most unspoke about former world champions. Obviously, he was 168 pound champion before. That I couldn't think. He's only 30. 41-0, 27 knockouts. Anyone else have that kind of record they're being spoken about? No one speaks about him. No one. Strange. Very, very strange. But yeah, it should be a good little scrap between him and Sullivan Barrera. Barrera comes to fight, but Gilberto Ramirez should be able to beat him. Josh Taylor, interesting words here. I fought better opposition than Crawford has. He hasn't fought the best at 147 pounds. That's true, though. He's not lying, is he? He has fought better opposition than Crawford. Fact. It's not even a debate. Is Josh trying to sell a fight now? Is that what we're trying to do? I like it. If this is what Josh is doing, then I like it. Trying to start the conversations for a Crawford fight. Why not? Again, I've been talking about Crawford for so long. It's got to the point where I feel sorry for Terence Crawford because I know how good Terence Crawford is, but resume, man, it's all about your resume. Unfortunately, all about it. I mean, I can keep saying this. How old is Terence Crawford? Why do I think Terence Crawford's like 34? I hope he's not that old. I hope I'm wrong and he's like 33. Yeah, it's 34 in September. Right, boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Jeez, he needs to get a move on quickly. I mean, look, there are rumours that there's going to be one more fight. He's got one fight left on his top-ranked contract, I believe, and I think the contract runs out in October. That's what I think. There are rumours that he has one more fight with them, a gimme, and then he just goes and does whatever he does, highest bidder type thing. Let's hope that is the case. Let's hope there is one more fight. Sorry, let's hope there is one more fight and then he goes. Because I'm desperate to see him in against someone of note. I do think the Caviar Laskus win's a good one. He might not get any credit for it, but it's a good one. Virgil Ortiz versus Caviar Laskus has been announced as well. We'll see what happens. Jake Paul not ruling out the possibility of facing Canelo in the future. You know, I'm not joking. I'd actually like to see that fight just so Canelo could just fold him in half. Because there'll be no niceties. Canelo will look to break him. Do you know what I mean? Like there's some people you don't want to do exhibitions with, or it's not even an exhibition anymore, is it? It's a real fight. There are some people you don't want that with. And Canelo type person is the kind of person that you don't want it with, like the Miguel Cotto type fighters. They're just coming to destroy you. There is no, we're trying to be friendly and jokey. They're just coming to destroy you. There is no, like for example, Jake Paul would never, ever try and steal Canelo's hat. Like, he's not that type of guy. You don't play with those type of people. So I would actually like it just to see Canelo fold him, but that would never happen. Joseph Parker's manager, Chisora rematch being negotiated for later in the year. I have no interest. But does anyone have interest in that fight? That fight was awful, with a capital A. Awful. Don't want to see it again. Don't happen. Please. A bit here about Pacquiao Spence. That fight is going to the T-Mobile Arena. That arena just gets everything, man. Yeah, we're not long away from that fight, you know. That fight, what are we now? What are we, June 22nd or something? That fight's all... Mate, we are less than 2 months away from that fight. It's crazy. We've got loads of fights coming up. Loads of fights. Anything else? Inoue saying that he can wait out the winner of Casemiro versus Daenerys and then face the winner of that. Yeah. Perfect. I love Daenerys, I do, but I just wanted to see, I want it to be Casemiro. And that's weird because I don't want Daenerys to lose, but I don't want to see Daenerys versus Inoue again. I want to see Casemiro. Casemiro is like on a fucking, he's on a seek and destroy mission, and I really want to see Inoue versus Casemiro. But look, even if it is Inoue versus Daenerys, it's a good one, but we'll see. What we got here? Errol Spence, and basically, maybe after this, you know, I actually think this could be Errol Spence's last fight at 147 pounds. I think Errol Spence will go to 154 next. Be good. I think, like, yeah. I mean, apart from Crawford and that fight, I don't look like it's going to happen. He's done what he can do. So at 147, so I'd like to see him go to 154 after. Imagine Pacquiao causes the upset. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Anything else? That's kind of it. Little bits, pieces here. That's kind of it. Some more stuff on Gervonta Davis. Maybe I was being a bit harsh on Gervonta Davis, but I just want to see him go. And this is the thing with Gervonta Davis. This isn't even me digging him out because I think he can go. I want to see him unleashed because it's normally when a guy kind of does this kind of fights that he's doing, and again, this isn't even discrediting Barrios because I think it's going to be a decent fight for a few rounds. But when a fighter normally does this, I'm like, they're ducking. He ain't ducking. I don't think Gervonta Davis right now would take all of them. He'll fight I think he'll generally fight with them all. I don't think there's a scared bone in that guy's body. Win or lose, he'll fight them all. And we're in a position right now where there are great, big matchups at 130, 135 and 140. So we're in this weird era where there's actually great fights in all three divisions and he can clearly make all three divisions. So it's upsetting when he's not fighting the people in those divisions. Yet, I mean, his camp will now, if he wins, will say things like he's a free-weight world champion. I'm not fucking having that. I'm not having that, man. And that's what they're going to say because they've already started saying it. Go and watch the All Access stuff. They've already started saying free-weight world champion. I'm like, dudes, come on, man. Don't try it.